It's an honor for me to appear before you today to bring awareness on the ongoing crisis of democracy and human rights in Nicaragua. In 2019, my husband, Félix Maradiaga, stood here on this same stage and say that he saw the seed of hope being planted in Nicaragua. Today, he's in prison, together with more than 180 political prisoners. I'm here to continue his fight against the cruelest human rights abuses my country has ever seen in peacetime. I met Felix 22 years ago in my hometown, Ciudad Darío, near the mountains of Nicaragua. The city is named after the poet Rubén Darío, who's famous for beautiful lines like, "Si pequeña es la patria, uno grande la sueña." If the homeland is small, one dream is big. Each year, we held a celebration in his honor, where the young women of the city will dress up in beautiful clothes to read his poetry, and a panel of judges will vote to decide who is Rubén Darío's muse. In 2000, I was one of the muses, and Felix was a judge. Believe it or not, he gave me the lowest score of any of the judges. But I forget him, because otherwise we may not have met. The year after I moved to the capital city to study, I was the first woman in my family to go to the university, and I was there on a scholarship studying business economics. Soon, I got a job at the national TV station as the main anchor of a morning show. And for the next 8 years, I was on TV 6 days a week. I thought I could make an impact in my country by talking about important social issues. Later, I became the general manager of a local TV station, and I had a front row seat to the Ortega's regime abuses. The journalists will pitch story ideas about government scandals and corruption, and afterwards we would be told to let others to publish the news or not to publish some content. The government censored us again and again. I felt horrible. I felt like I was being complicit with Ortega. By 2016, Felix and I were both well known around the country. I for my reporting, and Felix for his human rights and advocacy work. That year, the Independent Liberty Party nominated me to represent Managua in the National Assembly as part of the National Coalition for Democracy. I never thought about getting into politics, but I accepted their offer and resigned from the TV station. But before the election took place, Ortega's loyalists in the Nicaraguan Supreme Court disqualified our political party from the elections. By the end of that year, Daniel Ortega had installed his wife as the vice president of Nicaragua. As the director of the Institute of Strategic Studies and Public Policy, Felix investigated rump corruption and worked to strengthen civil society organizations. In April of 2018, Ortega announced reform to the Social Security system, with lower pensions from the early. Across the country, people took to the street to protest. The police responded by violently attacking peaceful protesters. After 30 days, they had killed 63 people, mostly students. According to the autopsy report, most of them were shot in the chest, neck, and head. As prominent members of the opposition, I knew our lives were at risk, so Felix and I made the impossible decision to take our 5-year-old daughter and his mother to the US. Felix stayed behind in Nicaragua to continue his work and politician activism. Ortega's supporters found Felix and beat him so severely that he was hospitalized. And after he testified at the UN Security Council in New York about Ortega's abuse in Nicaragua, the regime issued a warrant for his arrest, accusing him of organized crime and financing terrorism. I asked him to leave the country. So he came with us to the US temporarily. In 2019, he went back to Nicaragua to work in the effort to unite the opposition and strengthen the blue and white national unity movement, one of the main opposition groups in the country. Felix was put under 24 hours police surveillance. He received constant threats and was not always allowed to leave his house. In February 2021, Felix announced that he was running for president in the November election. We knew it was a huge risk. And on June 8 last year, Felix was disappeared by the Ortega's regime. The police put his car over, they beat him, and took him away. For 84 days, I have no idea where my husband was. I didn't even know if he was alive. Then, in August, we found out that he was in El Chipote prison, along with more than 40 other opposition leaders, including 5 other presidential candidates, plus journalists, students, peasants, party leaders, human rights defenders, and business people. Even former heroes of the Sandinistas revolution, like Hugo Torres Jimenez, a retired brigadier general, who tragically died at a hospital under police custody after 8 months in prison. The conditions they are held are truly horrific. They sleep in concrete slabs without sheets or blankets. They are verbally abused and psychologically tortured. They do not have access to reading material, not even a Bible. Felix has always been an athletic person. He practiced martial arts. He ran 100-kilometer races. He's one of the youngest people in prison, but he's lost 50 pounds and he's painfully skinny. Roge Reyes, Felix's lawyer, who was also later arrested, begged the guards for psychiatry treatment when he started losing his memory. He can't even remember the names of his daughter, and he's just 38 years old. Other prisoners like Tamara Dávila, Ana Margarita Vigil, Dora Maria Telles, and Suyen Barahona have been held in solitary confinement for almost 10 months. Prisoners in other jails like Jaime Navarrete, Marvin Vargas, Edward Lacayo have also been in the similar conditions since 2018 when the protest started, and we believe their lives are in risk. Ortega has banned all independent political parties. He has arrested journalists, shut down media organizations. Today, Nicaragua, like Cuba, is one of the countries in the Americas that don't even have a print newspaper. With the help of authoritarian regimes like China, Russia, and Venezuela, Ortega and his family controls the economy, and they amass an enormous fortune. Meanwhile, our citizens live in poverty, and more than 200,000 Nicaraguans have been fleeing the country, desperately seeking for safety and jobs. Along with Victoria Cárdenas, the wife of political prisoner Juan Sebastián Chamorro, I have been speaking out and demanding freedom for all political prisoners. The regime has condemned us as traitor of the homeland. So I haven't been able to see Felix the last 2 years. And because I cannot go back to Nicaragua, I haven't had any contact with him since he was arrested in June 8th last year. The regime will not allow Felix to receive a phone call, a letter, or even a drawing of our 8-year-old daughter. Recently, Felix and others were sentenced between 8 to 13 years in prison in a trial held not in a courtroom, but in the prison, violating all due process. But I know what my husband will say if he were here, that despite everything, he believes in democracy. And he believes that the answer to Ortega's violence is nonviolence, and that we must persevere. In the last visit, Felix sent me a message with his sister. The fight for the defense of human rights does not have borders, he said. From the prison where I've been tortured, I ask for the world's solidarity with Nicaragua. I ask that you do not forget all the children growing up without parents and the millions of Nicaraguans suffering under this regime. So I ask you, if you would like to show your support, you can sign a public letter to Daniel Ortega in the page sehumanonicaragua.com. Before he was arrested, Félix called Alejandra, our daughter, every night to talk and play. Days before he was captured, he sent me many short videos on WhatsApp and told me to play them for Alejandra if she becomes sad. He recorded a video for her birthday and another for Christmas. He also made a video for me, and he said, I miss you, I love you, and I'm not there today, but I will be there soon. Every time Alejandra and I cry, we take out those videos and we listen to his voice. I know our family will be reunited one day, and I know Ortega regime will fall. The future of democracy in Nicaragua is coming soon, and we will not stop fighting until we can raise this flag again in the street and not be taken into prison or killed for it. ¡Viva Nicaragua libre!